The first trillion yuan company has emerged in the AI compute chip sector, and on June 30th, 2026, Cambricon 688256 surged dramatically. At the time of reporting, Cambricon was trading at 1,600.05 yuan, up 7.97%, with an intraday high of 1,620 yuan. Its total market capitalization reached approximately 1.01 trillion yuan, with turnover hitting 218.95 billion yuan. In Q1 2026, Cambricon reported revenue of 2.885 billion yuan, up 159.56% year-on-year, and net profit attributable to shareholders of 1.013 billion yuan, surging 185.04%. On August 21st, 2025, DeepSeek released its version 3.1 update, announcing a series of upgrades. This routine update did not replicate the sensation from earlier in the year, but a single understated comment in the article's comment section ignited a storm that DeepSeek left one remark. UE8M0FP8 is designed specifically for the next-generation domestic chip to be released soon. The key point was that DeepSeek's precision standard was tailored specifically for Chinese-made chips. In other words, the large model company had chosen to fully embrace domestic chips. That one sentence set the domestic chip concept ablaze, and Cambricon, which had a partnership with DeepSeek, became the market's focal point. The latest financial report showed that in the first half of the year, Cambricon's revenue reached 2.88 billion yuan, a 43.5-fold increase year-on-year, and it swung sharply from losses to profitability. After the earnings release, Cambricon's intraday share price surpassed Matai, making it the new king of A-shares. With Cambricon, capital finally found the long-lost passion it had been searching for. The company is in a state of explosive acceleration. The most defining characteristic is that Cambricon's growth is not measured in percentages, but in multiples. In Q2, revenue hit 1.77 billion yuan, a 44-fold increase year-on-year. In a single quarter, Cambricon's revenue exceeded its entire previous year's total. Growth can solve many problems. Improve profits. Net profit reached 683 million yuan, a 3.24-fold increase year-on-year. Not only did it turn profitable, but it has now been profitable for 3 consecutive quarters, after 8 straight years of losses. Cambricon has finally seen the dawn of positive earnings. Enhanced operational stability. Operating cash flow swung from a net outflow of 630 million yuan to a net inflow of 910 million yuan, significantly improving the company's cash generation ability. To R&D expenditure as a proportion of revenue fell to a reasonable range as revenue soared, dropping from 691% last year to 15.85% in the first half. Looking at the Q2 report alone, Cambricon increasingly resembles NVIDIA. Gross margin was 56%, close to NVIDIA's 60.5%. Net profit margin was 39%, compared to NVIDIA's 42.6%. R&D personnel accounted for 78% of the workforce, slightly higher than NVIDIA's 75% that it is. Clear that compared to NVIDIA, Cambricon is still in an investment-heavy phase, with higher input metrics and lower profit metrics. But the gap is not large, and it has already started to show the characteristics of an AI water seller. This trend is likely to persist for some time. At the end of the first half, Cambricon's contract liabilities stood at 543 million yuan, a staggering 612-fold increase from the beginning of the period. This indicates that advance payments from customers have grown significantly and are likely to be converted into main business revenue in the near future. The target like this was already being heavily speculated on long before mainstream attention arrived. From 2023 to now, Cambricon's stock price has skyrocketed from around 50 yuan to 1,587 yuan, with its market cap exceeding 660 billion yuan, a gain of more than 30-fold. Its current trailing PE has reached 595 times, and the market has already started calling it King Cambricon. Despite the extremely high PE, the market remains incredibly bullish on Cambricon. Goldman Sachs raised its target price for Cambricon to 1,835 yuan per share. Cambricon has entered a classic Davis double play phase, where both stock price and earnings reinforce each other. Considering that the AI theme is still far from peaking, Cambricon is likely to continue attracting attention. That Cambricon's journey to where it is today is largely a story of extraordinary performance under extreme conditions. In 2010, Chen, then the chief architect of the Lungxin 3 chip at the Institute of Computing Technology of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, was frustrated by the tedious and dull work of chip testing. He had an audacious idea: using AI to replace manual chip testing. When his younger brother Chen joined the institute, Chen Yunji's idea found a supporter. The two brothers frequently discussed research at the intersection of AI and semiconductors. After many such discussions, they proposed the concept of an AI chip, a single chip that could accelerate all deep learning algorithms and programs. Back then, their research direction was a blank void. There were no similar papers or established research directions, and they could not even secure project funding. People around them dismissed it as something ethereal and intangible. The turning point came during an internal meeting, where the two brothers presented their AI chip vision and gained the approval of their superiors. The Chinese Academy of Sciences formed an intelligent processor team, with Chen Yunji as the research group leader. This was the first time the brothers created a miracle under extreme conditions. In March 2014, a paper titled DianNao, a small-scale high-throughput machine learning accelerator, was published in an academic journal, authored by Chen Yunji and Chen Tianshi. The significance of that paper was profound. It became a landmark achievement in global AI chip research. The journal Science praised it as a disruptive breakthrough taking place outside of Silicon Valley. In 2016, Google AlphaGo's Go matches against Lee Sedol sparked worldwide attention on AI.in an unnoticed corner. The two brothers had already quietly taped out a chip successfully, turning their AI chip concept into reality. They named the chip, infused with their dedication, Cambricon, hoping that, like the Cambrian explosion of life 500 million years ago, it would generate countless possibilities. The company Cambricon was thus founded at its inception. Cambricon quickly latched onto Huawei. In 2017, the Cambricon 1A processor was integrated into the new Kirin 970 chip as its core AI processing unit. It was the world's first AI mobile chip. Just when everything seemed to be going smoothly, a second extreme survival challenge was quietly brewing. A little over a year later, Huawei pivoted to in-house development, transforming from a partner into a competitor. Losing its major client, Cambricon was pushed to the brink. Within that incredibly difficult year, Cambricon developed a series of cloud inference and training chips. as well as edge computing product lines, and built a unified foundational system. Software and tool chain for all its products. In just 2 years, Cambricon had achieved full-stack hardware and software system capabilities. In July of that year, Cambricon listed on the STAR market, becoming China's first publicly traded AI chip company. In just over 2 years, Cambricon had completely resurrected itself and began to grow rapidly, demonstrating astonishing explosive power. But a new challenge soon arrived. In 2022, the U.S. government added Cambricon to the Entity List, blocking the path of TSMC as its foundry. At that time, TSMC held a near monopoly globally, and this move once again forced Cambricon to the edge of survival. Cambricon's revenue stagnated for 2 years, racking up 2.1 billion yuan in losses. In 2024, Cambricon finally emerged from the ordeal. The domestic semiconductor supply chain matured, 7nm production lines began to ramp up, and large AI models exploded. The unkillable Cambricon had survived once again. Cambricon had finally reached its golden moment. AI large models brought unprecedented new opportunities for chips. Large model training requires immense compute power, and GPUs are the primary approach. Cambricon, however, pursued a more cost-effective path: ASIC, or application-specific integrated circuits. By function, AI chips are mainly divided into training chips and inference chips. The training phase involves feeding large amounts of labeled or unlabeled data to a model and adjusting its parameters through optimization algorithms so it can learn relevant patterns and regularities from the data. In the inference phase, the model receives new input data and applies the already trained model to real-world scenarios for prediction or classification. Training requires repeated parameter adjustments and demands massive compute power. Inference does not involve parameter tuning, but aims to complete inference tasks as quickly as possible while minimizing power consumption. Thus, GPUs are better suited for training, while ASICs are better suited for inference. As AI large model training gradually matures, demand for inference chips is becoming increasingly robust. According to verified market research, the AI inference chip market is experiencing explosive growth. The market size was $15.8 billion in 2023 and is projected to reach $90.6 billion by 2030. This is Cambricon's first window of opportunity. The second window lies in the demand for domestic substitution. With the explosion of generative AI and the restrictions on high-end AI chips, domestic AI companies have been scrambling to adapt to and replace with domestic alternatives to meet their computing needs. In 2024, China's AI computing market reached $19 billion, an 86.9% year-on-year increase. China's intelligent computing power is expected to grow 74.1% year-on-year in 2024, far outpacing the 20.6% growth of general-purpose computing power in the foreseeable future. Domestic substitution is the unstoppable trend. DeepSeek's comment essentially reinforced this trend to the market. The new precision format is designed for next-generation domestic chips, China's AI large models, and inference. Chips are not a one-sided accommodation, but a mutual embrace. This is ecosystem-level mutual empowerment, and its significance is profound. Market momentum is Cambricon's greatest catalyst. Starting in 2024, Cambricon had already begun to explode, showing exponential growth. AI chips are Cambricon's breakthrough point. But the story Cambricon aims to tell is not just about chips. It is about becoming China's NVIDIA, building a separate ecosystem outside of NVIDIA's sphere to compete directly. Cambricon is not just about chips. It also has a software development platform similar to NVIDIA's CUDA. This includes Cambricon NeuWare, a software development platform built for its intelligent processor products spanning cloud, edge, and device, as well as its inference acceleration engine MagicMind. This is a grand dream, and only a handful of companies like Huawei and Cambricon dare to harbor it. The extreme survival challenges are far from over, and the road ahead remains extraordinarily difficult. Cambricon's real-world gap is objective, and catching up is extremely hard. For the DeepSeek collaboration chip, the market speculates it may be Cambricon's flagship Siyuan 590, a chip whose performance targets NVIDIA's A100. According to reports, the A100 was released by NVIDIA in 2020, and the Siyuan 590's overall performance is approximately 80% to 90% of the A100 currently. NVIDIA has already released the more powerful H100 and H200 and has unveiled its new Blackwell architecture. The gap is still evident. The software ecosystem is an even taller mountain to climb. NVIDIA's CUDA has developed over more than a decade and has become like Android or iOS. With its moat built on a developer base, Google, Intel, Qualcomm, and others have formed the Anti-CUDA Alliance, the UXL Foundation, to try to break CUDA's monopoly. But so far it appears extremely difficult to achieve. Of course, compared with these, what Cambricon truly urgently needs are capital and talent. Its semi-annual report shows that the company has an R&D team of 792 people, accounting for 77.95% of the total workforce. In comparison, in 2024, NVIDIA had 22,200 people in R&D, accounting for 75% of its total employees. This is a difference of orders of magnitude. While the proportion is not low compared to those giants, Cambricon is still essentially a startup. Considering its past development, a team of under 800 people supporting such explosive momentum is truly remarkable. But for the next stage, a team of 792 people is far from sufficient. The fundamental gap is enormous. In July this year, Cambricon announced a private placement plan to raise 3.985 billion yuan. The funds will primarily be used for large model chip platform projects, large model software platform projects, and replenishing working capital. IT is aggressively stockpiling ammunition and starting to accelerate AT this stage. Cambricon cannot yet challenge a fully leveled up NVIDIA, but a more realistic path is to level up by seizing current opportunities and growing stronger. In fact, the AI market is nowhere near a stock competition phase. NVIDIA itself remains in a state of insufficient capacity, frantic bidding wars among tech giants, and sky-high pricing. There is a massive slice of the market for Cambricon, as well as for Huawei Ascend, Tianchu Jixin, and other Chinese companies. MDCO Lisa Su once predicted that GPUs would not lose their dominance within 5 to 7 years, but new forces beyond GPUs would emerge. The ASIC path that Cambricon is taking represents one very important force. The market is still enormous, and Cambricon is only just beginning to grow. Short-term sentiment may help accelerate its rise, but ahead still lies a vast sea of stars.